Om. ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि हृदं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। नारायण नारायण नारायण। The third chapter of Bhagavad Gita primarily is popular by the name of Karma Yoga, which means what? In this chapter, Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna, in a special form, is going to elaborately describe about the action, karma, the way we know it, and the way it is to be understood. So Bhagavan is going to elaborately discuss on the topic of karma, the action, in this chapter. That is why this chapter is named as Karma Yoga. Then what do you mean by elaborately expand upon the topic of karma, action? In this chapter, Bhagwan is going to touch base upon the thing. What is the role of karma, action, in our life? That's number one. And what is the place of karma in all of our lives? In primarily, you will see what is the actual form, nature of action, karma, and in reality, what is the what is the actual way karma should look like in our life? What is the nature of karma, the way it should be actually applicable in our life, the way we should adapt it? Such topics Bhagwan is going to elaborately discuss us about in this particular chapter. Normally we will see the place of karma in our life. Actually, you will see whatever place we give to action in our life, if what is the result which it gives us today. That is one way to look at the life, the way we understand karma and what is the result it gives us today. And when we try to change our karma action the way it has been advised in this chapter, what is the kind of result we are going to gain from that? At once we change the way, our actions the way it has been described in this is chapter, all these things are going to be spoken about by Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna in this particular uh, chapter. And he's going to take up this topic in an elaborate way. And you will realize that the way we have understood karma, action, is actually not the correct way at all. And it is far different from the way the action should actually be like in our life. So, it is something which everyone knows. The moment I say action, everyone knows what I'm talking about. And even we see in the world also, it is karma is a word which is so loosely used by people. It's all karma. I think the result, it's all about karma. It's about, but how many of us really know what is karma? You will see from this chapter the way we have understood karma is not the correct way at all. Actually, if we first instill the understanding of karma correctly, then only we can have our action according to what has been understood. No, so Bhagwan is trying to take up this topic in quite detail here. He's going to elaborately talk about or this thing in this particular chapter, so that each one of us can take back what is applicable to me in my current situation, and we can lead our life accordingly. As I just mentioned, the common understanding of this word called karma or action in this society, if you see that, the way we have understood is actually quite delusory right now. And the way we have understood the karma today, there is a lot of misunderstanding about karma, how it works, how it functions. And many people even today, you will see, even after listening to spirituality also, or being devoted to God also, some people do ask this question, that I have did all the correct karma in my life, why am I facing all that I'm facing? That's why, because you have not understood the karma correctly. You have not understood the span of result also correctly. It's very clear in this creation, there is not even a wee bit flaw in this creation. I was talking to some listener the other day over phone, and I was talking about the same thing. Actually, if you subtly look at this creation, there is not even a single flaw in this creation. This creation is perfect in the way. Then the next question which can be posed on to me or thrown up to me is that, then the things which are happening around, they don't seem to be perfect that way. I'm not saying what is happening around is perfect, but I'm saying the way creation has been made in terms of action and result, the way this creation has been made to it maintain its continuity, it is just perfect. There may be a lot of bad things around because it is Kali Yuga, but all the bad things are going to give bad results also to those people who are doing it. We don't need to worry about that. That cycle is going to continue. But the beauty is, you see the creation, even in the middle of so many bad things also, good things are also there. There is satsang also available. There is teachings about scriptures also available. Who says that there is a dearth of that? There is no dearth of that at all. There may be million things which are wrong, but there are few 100,000 things which are good also. Comparatively, they may look, completely, what do you call that, out of proportion, but it's not that it is completely missing. This creation is really beautiful. Another beauty, I'll pick it up and show it to you right now. The biggest beauty of this creation is that in spite of so many jivas in this creation and in this earth itself, and there are so many galaxies present in this whole cosmos, so to say, in spite of that, nobody's karma's result is to be borne by any other person. It will reach the correct person. That's the beauty of this creation. And I'm telling you, who by whatever little I know of God, his way of working is just perfect. It is so perfect that it is not possible that anybody else is going to get anybody else's karma. And remember one thing, in these days, since there are a lot of cyber frauds and scams and other things going on, but in the account of karma, nobody can steal your good karma, and nobody is going to take away your bad karma also, and nobody else is going to bear your bad karma also. You only have to bear your karma, good or bad. That is entirely up to you. You only have to face it. So if you really see today, in the common parlance in the society, with respect to karma or action, there are a lot of misconclusions, misunderstanding, in delusion, incomplete understanding, incorrect understanding. And the same thing goes also for that, even in the topic of giving up of action, or karma sannyas, so to say, or karma tyag, dispassion, so to say, or giving up karma. In that topic also, in this society, there are lot of misconceptions and delusions about that. And remember one thing, Bhagwan, Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, in this chapter is going to throw light on both the things, on the topic of karma action also, and on the topic of giving up of action or dispassion, or karma sannyas also. Bhagwan is going to really talk about both of them. Since this chapter is mostly about karma and the nature of karma, the principles of karma, and different facets of karma, uh, because of since this chapter has been introduced to elaborate upon that, to explain or make us understand these aspects of karma, the nature of karma, the principle of karma, and the different facets of karma. That is why this chapter has been coined with the name called Karma Yoga. And the thing we need to remember is, in life, the karma or action has got its own place in everybody's life. And there are certain people, certain people who have expounded upon the meaning of Bhagavad Gita, certain commentators of Bhagavad Gita, so to say, they said that they have come up with this term, that the main purpose of giving Bhagavad Gita, and the main reason of giving Bhagavad Gita, is Bhagwan wants to put the entire human race into action, and the correct way of action. And they say that the prime advice or the prime teaching of Bhagavad Gita is actually to establish karma in our life in a correct form and manner, and to push us, or to lead us or guide us into actions correctly. This is what many commentators of Bhagavad Gita spoke about. And you know keeping this kind of a narrative in mind of the commentators, as they when I just which I just spoke about, keeping this kind of definition or understanding of Bhagavad Gita, uh, our ancestors, our people who have been our ancestors, they all have been in taking in this guidance about karma from Bhagavad Gita only. And they come up with this statement that right of action is something which is available to all of us. And this is about how they translate the line which is Bhagwan said in the the chapter number 2, who that karmanye vadikaraste. They come back and say that कर्म करने का अधिकार सबको है, or everyone in this creation, every human being in this creation has got a right to action. The actions are done by even animals and other are species also, but I'm talking about human race right now. Oh, they say that Bhagwan, supreme consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna has swayam declared that each one of us has the right of action. And in seeing in these things in the light of this word, that everyone has the right of action, in case someone does injustice to us, someone troubles us or creates trouble for us, or if someone tries to or makes an attempt to take away our right, he take away that which is to be what you call that, allocated to us, or that which is to be given to us. If somebody takes away that or someone exploits us, then what? Then using our wisdom means the correct knowledge of karma, all of us have the right to protest against it or to fight against it, right? And this becomes all of our prime responsibility. I'm telling you honestly, this word, I'm through Bhagavad Gita, I'm telling you all, Bhagwan makes it very clear. We all have the right of protection of us. All have the right for continuity of life for us, which I've already explained when I spoke about Sat, Chit and Anand. When I spoke about that, becomes my basic need. So all of us have got the right to protest against something. If somebody tries to snatch away my right, or somebody tries to exploit me, or somebody try to inflict harm to me, does injustice to me, so we all have the right and responsibility to actually protest against it and fight against it. And this is the main piece of advice, is the way our ancestors, our great men and our great literaries, all those people who are great saints, they have spoken about giving the advice of Bhagavad Gita as part of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. And they say that we are all ourselves responsible for our protection first. Only when somebody is a kid, at that time their protection becomes the responsibility of parents. But once we are grown up, and that is the reason why it is said grown up means what? It's not just the physical growth I'm talking about. I told you the growing up time is a time of investment in all of us. We must invest in actually correcting our habits, or cultivating right habits, right nature, or accumulating good knowledge and gaining wisdom about aspects of life. That becomes our own responsibility. So this is our great saints have spoken about, that it is our prime responsibility to take care of that. Bal Gangadhar Tilak ji, he had done this announcement, and in the context of Bhagavad Gita, he always used to follow Bhagavad Gita so much. He said it very loud and clear at one place, that in case you are being ruled over by someone, and he was talking about the time when Britishers used to rule India. I'm talking from that context. He says, if somebody is ruling over you and your country, the people who are responsible for it is not are not the Britishers. Actually, we are the one who are responsible. We were the one who were responsible for Britishers to rule upon us. Why? Because we remaining inactive, or we remaining in not acting against it, we were actually accepting that rule on us. So we accepted that we want to be ruled, because we never stood up and fought against it. When we decided to stand up and fight against it, those handful of Britishers, however powerful they may have been with their arms and ammunitions and other things, they had to give us they have to give us our independence back. That's when we became capable. The people of ours became capable, and they fought for it. And those rulers, when they were they there were many rulers at the time when Britishers came and started ruling. They were so selfish, they were so drowning in their luxury and all these kind of bhoga and all, that they really did not or spend any time protecting the country. If our country is being ruled by others, that means we are the one who are responsible, not them who are ruling. There are so many people looking for opportunity to rule over you anyway, but it becomes our prime responsibility to protect us. And Bhagavad Gita have been a source of inspiration for all these freedom fighters, including Bal Gangadhar Tilak and all. And he used to say, they all used to say, in fact he also used to say it very point blankly: in case we are being exploited, in case we are poor, in case we are uneducated, in case we are being trampled over by others, so whatever situation is there, the first responsibility, or the first person who is responsible for that kind of an infliction on us, is we ourselves. In Ramcharitmanas, Goswami Tulsidas ji also says this in Aranyakand: "Kahu na koi sukh dukh kar data, nij krit karam bhog sab bhrata." And this is our scriptural declaration. Nobody is responsible for our sorrows. We ourselves are responsible for our sorrows, and the same way we are ourselves responsible to, what you call that, generate happiness in our life also. And nij krit karam bhog sab bhrata. Everybody is only bearing the fruit of their own action. Everybody. And I told you very loud and clear. And this is our principle as expound. This is our scriptural declaration also. And this is the principle of Vedic dharma also, Vedic darshan also, Vedic philosophy also. And now, in this light, if you really look at what action is, then how will we translate it action in this light, what I just spoke about, which means what? Whatever situation I receive in my life, in those situations, whatever capabilities I have generated till now, and whatever wisdom or knowledge I have gained as of today, when I react in those situations which I face in my life, or which appear in my life, or which come in my life, when I react in those situations, that is what will be seen as action, the way we need to understand action correctly. Then, now what will you really, how will you really translate then action as actually action in real sense means reaction. Means what? Why are you saying action is reaction? Actually, if you really look at each one of us, how do we act? We act according to the situation received by us. When we act according to the situation received by us, then is that really action or is that really reaction? So actually, technically speaking, the action we do today are reaction. But if you recollect, in one of the podcast episodes I spoke about, I said at that time that we all must act and we must avoid reaction. Then, in this context, how will that hold correct what I said at that time? At that time, you need to remember, we did not know the correct definition. I have not explained the correct definition of action and reaction at that time. So, in that context, that was correct. Now, I am explaining that statement also to you here. What I meant there, that we must act and we must not react. How were we understanding action and reaction today? The way, in literal parlance, the way we understand action is when something we act upon with the knowledge we have acquired and with the capability, we used to call it action. And what we used to call it reaction, when at the spur of the moment we do immediate action without, which is completely not thought after, without using our knowledge. I had coined that term over there as reaction. Okay, but here, if you really literally see the meaning, the correct way you see the meaning correctly, all of our action is actually reaction only, because we are acting according to the situation received. Then the reaction which I spoke about there in that episode, how will you call in there? That is actually, I will coin today with a different word called, that is called haphazard reaction, or spur of the moment reaction, or I would say reactive reaction. Okay, so you will use this word now. So there are three things now: action, reaction, and reactive reaction. Reactive reaction means what I just immediately do without thinking after. With the reactive reaction I'm talking about is that somebody said something to me, and without even thinking, I slapped someone, I scolded someone, and I said whatever is in my mind. But I didn't, and later on I'm thinking on it. Oh, did I say it right? Because if you really see it, reactive reaction, there the use of knowledge is not there. But what I'm talking about reaction here is that when we sit down correctly, every situation we receive, and when we act in that situation according to our capabilities generated till date, capabilities developed till date, and according to the knowledge I have acquired till date, when I use that and do that, that action is actually called as reaction in the correct sense. So every action, so to say, we call today is actually reaction only. But yes, for the usage purpose, we can say one as action and one as a reaction, but the subtle meaning you need to understand. So the reactive reaction we will call as reaction, usually we call as reaction, and the reaction and of what I've explained here, we use that as action today. But we have to understand the correct meaning when we actually move through the scriptures. It is my duty also to explain you the correct meaning in the way we need to really understand the correct side of it also. So action appears only when a person receives a particular situation and he generates a response in that generation of response, when it is with knowledge and with the capabilities I have, that becomes the correct reaction. And when it is not with the capabilities and not according to the knowledge, then it becomes a reactive reaction. Okay, what happened now? I'm giving you certain situations for you to understand, certain context, so that you understand it correctly, in certain examples for you to understand. When some situation comes in our life, and using our senses, we remain silent. Okay, we decide to remain silent. I'm just giving you an example. Now silence cannot be termed as an action, right? But if you really see it correctly, their silence is also a reaction from us, isn't it? We thought over it, and two of the things we understood: one is that I may not have the capability to react in there, maybe by position or whatever circumstances of mine, or second, my knowledge says that in this situation remaining quiet is better. There is no point dragging on this fight. When I remain silent in such a thing, at that time the silence is also a reaction. How it will become a reaction? Provided it is with the use of knowledge and wisdom of mine. And in case I have used my wisdom and knowledge and assessed my capabilities correctly and did that, then remember, the result of that reaction will always be good, even if it is silence. Actually, I'm telling you, I'm giving you an example. Many a places, there's many interactions I see, when people are not understanding you correctly. I've learned this lesson in my life: silence is the available best available reaction of yours. And trust me, I'm telling you, many cases silence itself is a big punishment also. If somebody you have liked so much, or you both have been liking each other so much, and suddenly a situation comes that a person doesn't understand, and suddenly you go silent, trust me, that person who like you or love you will not be able to bear that silence. I have heard people saying that your silence is unbearable. I've heard myself also, some people saying that. But you know by God's grace, when I see that there is no point arguing with, I would say, use the word here, there is no point arguing with idiots or fools, because they are not going to understand your point. So you are going to end up wasting your time, and there is no value add to yourself also, there is no help to the other also, and it is actually going to worsen, and you may end up taking some bad taste and bad feeling in your mind. So it is better to remain silent. So I'm telling you, in that case, you will see silence is also one of the best actually response or reaction, actually, so to say. If our reaction is with the usage of our wisdom, then we don't need to worry. The result which will come is always going to be good only. And remember, whatever result will come of our reaction only, according to our prarabdha. Prarabdha means what? at our actions which have been done in the past, and those actions which are ready to fructify in this particular body, in this particular life, they come under and add under prarabdha. I've already explained that in the previous episode, so to say. According to our prarabdha, situations will arise in our life, and there is no one in this creation, no human being in this creation, and who is without any kind of habits or nature or character, right? Now, if you understand this, each one of us have got a habit slash nature or character. All of us have. That's one thing. Second thing, all of us have wisdom in different varying quantities. Somebody may have very high on wisdom, somebody may have wisdom, but everyone has some or the other kind of knowledge. And the third thing which each one of us has is everyone has a capability, has some kind of capability. Some have high capability, some have low. I'm not talking about high or low gradations here, but I'm saying there is no one without any kind of capability at all. There is no such person. There is no one without any kind of habit, nature, or character. There is no one without any kind of knowledge. All of us have got these three things in varying quantities. That's the different thing altogether. So, what do you understand from that? When and according to the a habit, according to my own nature, habit, or character, according to my own capabilities, and according to the knowledge I have gained till now, when I act, you know, when I act means what? All of us act according to that only. All of us act according to our own nature or habit and character cultivated till now, according to the capabilities we have and according to the knowledge we have. Now, the reaction when it comes out, it will differ according to these three parameters, so to say, as we just mentioned. What? Habit slash nature or character which I have developed, the capability which I have, and the knowledge which I have gained till now. For correcting a situation which arises in my life, the purusharth or our effort comes later on. And but the first effort which comes out is that uh, first effort we should all do in our life is what? We should make our knowledge stronger and stronger day by day. Now there are few aspects you need to understand when I say we should make our knowledge stronger and stronger. Some people have this misconception that if they read the newspaper every day diligently, the entire newspaper from the start till the beginning, they are equipping themselves with the correct knowledge. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about that at all. Now I'm just giving you an example. Many things which appear in the newspaper are actually not going to be useful for me ever. I'm just telling you, huh? Some people say that, they used to come to our Swamiji and used to say, Swamiji, you see the beauty of my day. My day starts with complete scanning of the newspaper first. Swamiji said, if you think that's the best way to do, you are the biggest fool on this earth. You are you are actually in the morning itself filling your brain with many kind of nonsense things which are redundant for you, which are not completely useless for you. You don't need to know everything. On the contrary to that, I'll tell you, my Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayanand used to say it very beautifully. Once I was sitting with him, I was seeing that he used to scan through the newspaper. Now there is a difference, huh? Reading the newspaper completely and scanning through the newspaper. So I asked Guruji that, Guruji, what are you doing? He said, I look at the headlines of all to be aware, and only those which I feel are worth knowing, I'll read the detail. Rest of them, I'll just read the headline and just know it and push it away from me. Only those which are relevant and I feel that I need to know more, those only I'll read more. I don't read the entire newspaper correctly. So I used to see that in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, the whole newspaper is done. So I used to wonder, I've never understood that kind of a style of reading newspaper. So this is how great masters talk about. Their actions or the way they walk in life is a great piece of inspiration for us. Trust me, I'm telling you, I always keep saying it is a great blessing of Bhagwan if we get an association or a company of a Mahatma or a saint. Trust me, I'm telling you, it is far above gaining book knowledge, because through their actions itself they will teach you Vedanta. Now this newspaper thing, it is not to be read in any Vedantic scripture or Upanishad or anywhere. It is something which I just saw from the way they are acting. So Mahatmas are a great piece of knowledge. They are like walking piece of knowledge. They act not from their love and hatred kind of a thing. They act from a different level altogether. I'm telling you one more thing here. Pujya Gurudev used to be Guru Bhai for many from Shivananda Ashram. So, after coming back from Swami Tapovanji Maharaj, after studying in the scriptures, and he started going into the different parts of our country, India, to disperse the knowledge of Vedanta, the teachings of our Upanishads and all. So whenever he used to visit Rishikesh, he used to go to Shivananda Ashram and sit with Guru Bhai, means all those people who studied with him in Shivananda Ashram. So he used to sit amongst those and used to have bhiksha with them, used to have food with them. Many people may not know the word bhiksha. So he used to sit and eat food with them. So, his counterparts used to say that we knew that he is one of us who are gone from here, but even while sitting down and spending time with him and eating food with him, we knew that he is very, very different from us. What makes that difference? That he is acting from a different level of knowledge altogether. That's what our great masters are. That is why, company of a master is called as satsang. Then all the other sangs are what? Of course, they have to be coined as dussang only, right? We can call it sadharan sang to discount ourselves, but what will we talk about? Movie, cricket, other thing? What value add it's going to do for you? Tell me. Is it going to really make your life by any chance? You are building your personality stronger into this world and making sure that you are going to fall back into the cycle of birth and death again and again. That is what you're gaining. You're gaining different kind of sanskar, different kind of culture, so to say. So, you know, uh, correcting the situation and is a secondary effort for all human beings. But the first effort for all of us should be what? Our first effort should be towards what? Towards gathering more and more knowledge and strengthening our wisdom. Why? Because of whatever reactions we give in our life, whatever so-called actions which are actually reaction according to the definition which I just gave, whatever acts we are doing in life which are actually reaction only, they are actually expression of our knowledge gained in our life, and we act from our knowledge, from the standpoint of our knowledge. First top comes as knowledge, and then secondary we act according to the capability, and the third we act according to our swabhava means habit, nature, or character. Now let me tell you honestly one thing in terms of a permutation combination, and tell you, for example, think somebody has no knowledge, okay, may have capability but have no knowledge. Now you see what becomes the primary guiding factor for his or her reaction. It becomes his habit, his nature, and his character. And second comes his capability. Or maybe capability first and second, but knowledge is not there. That action will always give bad result to that person. That is why if we strengthen our knowledge base, I'm talking about knowledge base, we strengthen the knowledge of karma, we strengthen the knowledge of what Bhagwan wants us to do, about creation, about us, about the relation of us with God, how to move about in this creation. If that becomes the forceful factor in us, then trust me, our swabhava or nature or character or habit, it which you have cultivated in the past life and this life also earlier, takes a back seat. And trust me, if you have strong wisdom or strong knowledge base and you have capability, you can also effectively change your swabhava, change your nature, change your habit, change your character. But with if you do not have that, then how will you, what tool you have to change your nature, change your habit, and change your character. What tool do you have? You have nothing at all. That is why the biggest effort of every human being should be what we should rush towards gaining more and more knowledge about our shastra, about our scriptures, strengthening our wisdom, so that it our whenever a situation comes in my life, my intellect is strong enough to give me advice directly at that point itself, without much weight. That will happen only provided if I have strengthened my intellect with the correct kind of knowledge. Even to mellow down your habits or improve upon your habits, improve upon your nature, improve upon your character, and also to ensure that your habits or your nature or character is mature enough, is paripakva, that also will happen with the wisdom and knowledge you have gained. That will become the second purushartha, or I can put it in the first only. Knowledge is the first purushartha. Along with that comes strengthening or maturing my habits, maturing my behavior, maturing how I react in the situation, maturing in the nature and character of mine, and making it little humble. That is one thing which is very difficult to gain, humility. I told you in the last episode, when I really expounded upon that, many people don't even know how to ask question. I said there, trust me, there is actually an actual dearth of people with humility in this creation, as of date today. The number of arrogant people is so much, they don't understand. With your arrogance you are losing out. It's not going to give you anything. You will lose whatever you have gained also. I'm telling you, I've seen people who have lost beautiful, brilliant families also because of their arrogance. I have seen people who have failed in big opportunities also because of their arrogance. I'm telling you, what humility can give you, nothing else can. And I told you in the last session itself about that. When people reach out to Guru don't care about you. You may be rich, you may be, uh, some president of some country also. For a Guru, it makes no difference at all. Which I'll use one line, that don't impress a Guru at all. None of these things impress a Guru. What will impress a Guru? Only two things will impress a Guru: your attitude of faith towards the Guru and your attitude of service towards the Guru. These are the only two things which will help you gain from a Guru. Nothing else will. You may be rich, you may be living in a luxury. For a Guru, it doesn't matter. I'm giving you one example here to explain that itself. When Puja Swami Tapovanji Maharaj used to be in Uttarkashi, the king of Uttarkashi used to have a very, very smart kind of a minister. But for some reason, the minister got diagnosed with some disease and he was about to die. So the king got worried. You are such a smart man. Where will I find such a smart minister? So the minister was very smart. He said, in your kingdom, there is a guru by the name Swami Tapovanji Maharaj. And I'm telling you, he's more smarter than me because he is perfectly equipped with the knowledge of scriptures. And since he can give you advice on any topic under the sun. So there cannot be a smarter man than him to become your minister. But the problem is, he may not, accept, he may not agree to become your minister. He may not agree to become your advisor. So that king, in his arrogance, said, "Oh, I am the king. I can ask anyone as my, subject to obey what I'm giving." So first he sent a message to Swami Tapovanji that, king wants to meet you. Now you see, Swami Tapovanji got little taken aback. King wants to meet me? He said, but I don't want to meet the king. If king wants to meet me, he should come here. Why should I go there? He sent the messenger back. The king got really furious in his arrogance. How dare he, say that? So, at that time, he sent his army along with him. And he said, lift him and, get him here. And Swami Tapovanji, nobody could touch him. Swami Tapovanji said, you cannot touch me. Don't even dare do that at all, because the power of a Mahatma, you can't even imagine what kind of a power a Mahatma has. The whole kingdom is nothing in front of him. And when he sent there, he sent along with lot of gifts for Swami Tapovanji also, to see if Swami Tapovanji gets carried away by the gifts. He said, return all these things back to the king and give one message to the king. That the message is, if a woodcutter comes and wants to cut a tree on which a bird has got a nest, the bird is not going to fight with the woodcutter. Just give this message to the king. So the army men went back, the soldier went back and gave the message. King did not understand the message. I told you the minister was smart. Minister said, King, you didn't understand what he meant. He said, if you trouble him more, he will leave Uttarkashi and go. And please go and beg him. Don't let him go away from Uttarkashi at all. Why? Because of such Mahatmas as in this world, in your kingdom is safe and blessed by Bhagwan. And if they move out, you don't know what kind of calamity may strike you. So please go and fall on his feet and beg him. At that time, King carried more gifts for Swami Tapovanji Maharaj and said, Swamiji, please don't refuse it. Please pardon my mistake. I'm really sorry. It is my pleasure that you are in my kingdom. Please continue to stay. If you have anything which you want from us, I am promising you it will be given to you at the blink of your eye. And I will make sure that it is done for you. Please accept this gift on my behalf. Swami said, I cannot accept anything. He said, Swamiji, please, it's my humble request. So he said, he kept one portion of the gold coin, and what he did is that he gave the gold coin to the Kashi Vishwanath temple in Uttarkashi. With that money only, the Kashi Vishwanath temple came up in Uttarkashi, I'm talking about. So Mahatma doesn't want anything. The one who is immersed in the self, he doesn't care about anything in this creation. The same thing I spoke about when somebody went to Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi and said, there is a world war going on, please come out of Arunachalam, let's go and live at some other place. So Swami, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi's words I told you. Remember one thing, a Mahatma is immersed in the self so much that he only sees the vast expanse of the self in this whole creation. He is not bothered, he doesn't fear from any damn thing in this particular creation at all. So the primary factor or the primary cause of our reaction, the primary enabling factor of our reaction is actually the knowledge a person has gained, along with the nature, habit or character cultivated, and along with that the capability developed by this particular person. And what is the meaning of capability? Capability meaning in what? Whether am I capable enough to act according to whatever effort is required in this particular situation? Am I capable enough to put in the required amount of effort? Do I have the capability effort in this particular situation? That is actually decided internally by an internal factor within us. Internally only we decide. We don't go and some people may go and boast about I have this capability, of that capability and all those things, but actually this is an internal metrics for us. We only look within ourselves, am I capable enough or not? Somewhere people does that miscalculation without seeing the capability. When they jump into it, of course you are setting up yourself for failure. And I can give you many examples, but I'm not taking the time of this session because we have to move ahead also. So that is one thing which is internally decided by us. And if within us we feel that we do not have that capability, we do not have that we do not have that ability, we do not have that capability, we do not have that power, then what effort that person can put towards that, because he doesn't have it, right? And wisdom says, even if wisdom says that in such a situation this is the correct way of reaction, but the wisdom also says you do not have the capability to react. So then if I do not have that much of power, and I do not have the required kind, my knowledge says that I do not have the power, even though the reaction is supposed to be this, and my habit also shows me that it is not developed enough for me to react in this particular situation, then if I may not be able to react correctly in that particular situation. So a person with a wisdom may actually avoid such situations. And those people who have actually strengthened their knowledge base, strengthened their wisdom, have worked upon improving their habits, nature and character, and have also developed capability, those people are the one who are quick in resolving and completing actions. Remember, they will be able to finish or complete a task very fast because they have all the three things available with them. They have worked upon gathering knowledge, they have worked upon gaining the required amount of knowledge and wisdom, they have also worked upon improving their habit, it and nature, they have also worked upon developing their capability. Those people will be able to complete any task given to them very, very fast, and they will always be eager to take up actions. Now, this is another thing which you need to remember, which I need to explain it to you here. And such a person, slowly, gradually, you will see, start climbing the stairs of karma in terms of gaining popularity, gaining in higher and higher. It starts growing in life, starts to climb the stairs of karma, starts to climb the stairs of position in life, and definitely will reach great heights, so to say. I'm purposely using the word great heights here because at the action level, some become CEO, director, CEO, owner, whatever, founder, and so and so things are there. And remember, God also gives work to those people who actually act, who actually work. Work only comes to those who work. Those who have habit of running away from work, God also makes sure that it doesn't get any work at all. And more work is also given to them, to those who works very fast. Now, what happens with some people? Some people, before even they start the work, they say, oh, it is very difficult. They've already made this impression in their mind that this task is very difficult. That means what? They've already lost the motivation. And remember, this thought that when the moment work comes to you, they say it is very difficult, it is not a thought given by God. It is not something given by God to us at all. It is not something which is coming from the five great elements, the Panch Mahabhut. It is not coming from there. It is not even coming from the nature. Nature means the physical, external nature, the creation. It is not even coming from the nature, which is part of the creation. It is not even coming from there. All these things, we have only cultivated the habit, and we have created it as our own nature. And what is our first effort? How our first effort should be? What should be our actual purusharth or effort should be towards? It should be that such habits, such nature, and such character, we must work towards improving upon them. We must make our habit, nature, and character beautiful, and we must gain humility in our actions, in our efforts. We must work upon our humility also. And the vivek or wisdom, how you can work upon your wisdom? The only ways to work upon your wisdom, or enriching your wisdom, or making your wisdom strong, or making the knowledge strong, is the first foremost tool is satsang. Satsang means sitting under the grace of a guru and hearing the words of a guru, or hearing the teachings of the guru. What will he teach? He'll teach from the scriptures only, or hearing the teachings of the scriptures from a guru. Satsang. And told you, because they're the sang, the association with Sat means God. Because a guru is not going to talk to you about films, guru is not going to talk to you about cricket, guru is not going to talk to you about news. He may ask you what's happening around to see how you are looking at all those things, but he has got nothing to do with those things at all. He may give you advice if you speak about things at all. I told you, if we don't have the right capability, I told you, Puja Guruji Swami Subodhananji used to say it very beautifully. He said that if we are not capable and we are not pure enough, we have not gained the capability enough. Na? Even if we come across a guru by the grace of God or by our punya, our good karma, we'll end up asking question about cricket and building and cement and material only. We may not even ask the question which a guru is capable of answering. What you know the question about news, cricket, and other things any normal man can ask. I have got limited time with my guru. Why should I end up wasting my time asking about those things when those things I already discuss in my gossip with my friends and all? When I go to a guru, I should ask question, where is he sitting and talking from? What knowledge is making him? What is the shine or glow coming from his face? How consciousness is shining from there? What minimum I can gain from him with my limited capability and limited intellect I have? Of course, Guru's grace can do many things. So that's one thing we need to remember. Knowledge can be developed or wisdom can be gained by satsang, by bhajan means by activities, by engaging in activities of devotion, bhajan so to say, by devotional activities, by prayers, and by also ensuring that we always sit in the lap of scriptures in terms of gaining the correct understanding of life. These things are the one which actually beautify our wisdom, beautify our knowledge. And such a man of wisdom, such a man of knowledge, whatever reaction this person may give, whatever action this person may do in the world, it will always be unimaginably good. Why? Because the capability of his intellect, of his wisdom is quite high. He is at a very high stand, his knowledge is at a very high level. And in his nature, in his habit, in his character also, there is absolute amount of beauty and maturity, so much amount of beauty and maturity which we can't even think of. All these things are actually internal in nature, and basis on these things only we end up reacting towards situation. So we must work towards improving upon our habits, nature, and character, and fine tuning them. We must beautify, or we must enrich ourselves with our with knowledge and wisdom, and we have to make it beautiful. This should be our first and foremost effort in our human life. This should be our first area of effort in our human life. And once we have cultivated this good nature and good habit and all, and we have cultivated enough knowledge for us to actually lead our life correctly. Remember, when we react or give action in the world, we act in this world, our situation, in whichever situation we face, when we act with these things, remember one thing, our situations will also start improving. With improved knowledge or wisdom, with improved capabilities, with improved nature, character, and habit, you cannot say that my situations are the same worse one but I have improved. No, the moment you start improving, that is why Puja Gurudev used to say one line very profoundly: you change and the world around you has to change, will change. This is one thing we need to remember. But the point is, in this world, the problem where it happens is everybody wants to change everybody else except them. That is a big mistake. You cannot change anyone. You have no freedom on others. You have only freedom on your action. Karmani eva adhikarah te. You have freedom of action about your action, nobody else's action. Everybody will act according to their freedom. You have only freedom of choice according for your action. So you change, and when you change, trust me, with these kind of improved habit, nature, and character, with gained capabilities or developed capabilities, with enhanced and enriched knowledge and wisdom, when you start reacting in the situation which comes in your life, slowly, gradually, your situations will also improve. If your situation is bad today, the prime person who's responsible for those bad situations is me and me alone. I am the only one responsible for my bad situation and bad surrounding. Why I have got such people surrounding me? Because I have been like that. So I told you, you change and the world around you will change for sure. That is not possible, it won't change. Slowly, gradually, when we act like this, slowly, our situations also start to improve. They start to become better than how they were before. So the contributing factor of improvement in our situation is actually enrichment in our wisdom, enrichment of knowledge, or improvement in our knowledge, improvement in our habit, nature, or character, and accumulation of capabilities or improvement in our capabilities. We cannot directly go and change the situation, and rather these are the factors which become the causal factors or the contributing factors for improvement in our situation. And we hope that as a as a result of better reaction and our situations also start to improve and also start to become better and better, and slowly, gradually, better situation starts to reach us, and worse kind of situation starts to move away from us. That's why, in case my situations or my circumstances are bad today, so the primary factor responsible for that is we ourselves, because our knowledge is not correct today, our habit and nature is also not improved today, not correct at all, and we are actually slave to our habits, nature, bad habits, nature, and character cultivated as of now. Our thoughts are always circling around that, our thoughts have been captured by them, and our thoughts are always inflicted by them. Then, when in such a kind of a situation, if a person reacts or gives an action or reacts to a thing, it will always be uncultured, and it will always, as be driving factor for bad results for someone. It will always be driving bad results for one person. And and since it is going to drive bad result for you, then how can those situations create auspicious kind of circumstances around you? They cannot create auspicious circumstances around you. They cannot or give you auspicious results also. It is not possible at all. All of us all of us as for all of us, actually, favorable situations are dear to us, but but these favorable situations are not created by us. For all of us, favorable situations are dear to all of us, and we all want to have favorable situations in our life. And the principle of karma emphasizes this fact, gives this loud and clear, that whatever situation is there in my life today, the only one responsible for that is me alone, me myself. Even if whether it is at the level of a bad situation in my life, even if it is at the level of people also, or even if it is at the level of association also. And Tilak ji always used to say, whenever he used to talk about anything, he used to talk from the standpoint of the nation. He never used to talk about at the standpoint of him as a person. He never used to talk about upliftment of him. Whenever he used to talk about the upliftment of the nation, because his ideal was huge, his ideal was higher. In our life also, karma has got a deep influence in our life, and that influence is really wonderful to see. It's very you know very deep, so to say, to see. That is why in this third chapter, that is why Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna has devoted the entire third chapter to the principles of karma. has devoted the entire chapter for karma or action. And now let us see the overview of this particular chapter, what Bhagwan is going to talk about, overview of the topics covered in this particular chapter. In the first two verses, which we already read in the last session, last session also, in the first two verses, it is actually the question of Arjun about deciphering between Karma Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. And he says, Bhagwan, clearly tell me what to do. Even though Bhagwan clearly told Arjun that stand up and fight, still Arjun wants to, re-listen to the thing and say, I want to hear once more from you. Is it okay if I go and take sannyas and walk that path? Bhagwan, I hope you were mistaken by telling me to fight, right? He wants to hear that. He's not hearing it. So that is why there are first two verses are actually Arjun's question. In the third verse, Bhagwan himself proposes the topic which he is going to cover. And he is presenting the topic, what is going to be covered as part of answer towards Arjun's question. And after that, 13 verses, which is starting from verse number 4 onwards up to verse number 16, the only topic which Bhagwan is going to elaborately talk about is karma action. Okay, and in that Bhagwan is going to cover 4 kind of actions there: karma, akarma, nishkam karma, and vikarma. All these are covered in this discussion. Now, since I said that topic, even though I'll elaborate when it comes, but let me tell you, karma means action, akarma means inaction, nishkam karma means selfless action, and vikarma means nishiddha karma, or what you call those things which we should not do. Vikarma, Vigata karma we call about. They all are covered in this topic of in these 13 verses, starting from verse number 4 up to verse number 16. And in these 13 verses, Bhagwan first described the entire canvas of karma. He painted the entire canvas of karma, that what are the different kind of actions and how you should look at action. Then in 17th and 18th verse, Bhagwan spoke about Jnana Nishtha. He picked up the topic of Jnana Nishtha. How abidance in the knowledge, topic of abidance in the knowledge, firm abidance in the knowledge, Bhagwan picked up in the verse number 17 and 18. In the 19th verse, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna completed culminated the topic of Karma Yoga and gave his final advice by summarizing the entire teaching in the verse number 19. And from 20 onwards up to 26, 20 to 26, Bhagwan picked up a topic, he himself picked up a topic called who are the people who are serving the humanity. I use the word Loka Sangraha. Who are the people who are serving the creation, who are serving the humanity? He picked up that topic. In today's world, the moment we say serving the humanity, the word which comes in the mind of people, the way it is commonly described today, social service. I'm sorry, social service is not the correct way to represent serving the humanity. Bhagwan is going to pick up anyway. Though Bhagwan Bhashyakar, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji has given the definition of this word called Loka Sangraha or serving the humanity. He has given a definition, and which is very beautiful. Those people who are completely misled into wrong paths. There are many in this world who are being directed incorrectly today, who have strayed into wrong paths today. Those people who have strayed into wrong paths today and they are acting completely opposite of what they should do, effort to bring them back into correct path by giving the correct knowledge, that is what is actually called Loka Sangraha or serving the humanity, as per the definition of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. This is not my definition. Don't think that it is my definition. Those people who have strayed onto wrong paths, showing them the correct path and equipping them with the correct kind of knowledge so that they can make an effort to walk on the correct path and correct themselves and become sanmargi, become people following the correct path. Actually, that is what is called serving humanity or Loka Sangraha according to the definition of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. And we have this misconception and misunderstanding that helping someone is actually Loka Sangraha, is social service, is actually serving humanity. No, that is definitely not. In the group also, I picked up this point and of punya, and I spoke very categorically about direct punya and indirect punya. In the direct punya, which gives you direct punya straight away, I've very clearly said supporting in the knowledge being dispensed to people, the correct knowledge of scriptures being given to people is definitely goes under the direct punya. And also, which goes under direct punya, is basically contribution towards building and maintaining temples, contribution towards religious festivals. Why? They are all factors because of which our culture can be withheld, our culture can be developed, our culture can be made to sustain. That is why they count under a direct punya. Rest everything else is indirect punya, the way people call the social service. And in scriptures, that is what is called Loka Sangraha, not at helping few people here and there. I saw a poor, I helped. I'm sorry, that is not Lok Sangraha at all. And because by helping them, actually by helping those people, poor and all, how long will you help? You may help once, you may help twice, but you cannot make their life. But remember, by helping them, you are making them completely dependent on this kind of things. They will never make an effort to work. They will never do that at all. So that cannot be called as Loka Sangraha at all. And that cannot be the way we understood social service today. That's actually not the correct way to understand social service. Because supreme consciousness has given capability to everyone and has given the right of action to everyone. These two things Bhagwan has given across board to every human being, every being actually. And if path of that person is correct, if the person is using these two things, capability given by Bhagwan and the right or choice of action given to him, if he is using to walk the correct path, then trust me, surely this person is going to gain success and he will not need you ever at all. If these things are there, if that person always needs you, then that means our seva is not right at all. If you give money, next day also the same person is standing, may not even recognize you only gave yesterday and ask you again, that means you did a wrong thing. Actually, you did not give it correctly. So remember, I told this in my group also, the biggest thing which a guru would want is, guru will never want his disciple or shishya or student to be always dependent on him. Guru will equip the student with something that he would one day have the knowledge himself, so that he can be free from the guru. So that's why guru is one who will give a freedom to a disciple if the disciple is devoted to a guru, has faith in the guru, and has got the attitude of serving a guru. Now continuing from there, verse number 27 up to 35, they are very beautiful verses. There Bhagwan gives us the tune of this creation or the song of this creation. What is the song or tune of this entire creation? What is the core tune, core song of this creation? Bhagwan has given in these verses from 27 up to 35. In this entire creation, there is a very, very beautiful, there is a very calming, and there is a very soothing kind of a music which is going on, and it is continuously going on. And the core or syllable of that is swaha, giving our ahuti, giving giving up things which are not required by us, as sacrificing our things. That is the beautiful tune and song of creation which is going on in this entire creation. And Bhagwan, supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, explaining the nature of this song, Bhagwan said in the verse number 16 of this chapter itself that evam pravartitam chakram nanu vartayati hayah aghayurindriya ramah mogham parthasa jivati. And he said there that a person who does not work according to, or who does not dance along with the, or who does not move along, who does not walk along with this song of this creation, or this tune of this creation, actually his or her life is a complete waste of time and waste of himself or herself. Such a person can never become Atmaram. He or she will always be called Indriyaram, because this person is not serving the Supreme Consciousness. This person is not serving God. This person is only serving his senses and hence become slave of his senses. So he will be called Aghayur Indriya Rama. Indriya Ram, that is what he will be called. His or her whole life is circling around satisfying his or her senses. And such a person's life will be filled with sin. Why? Because senses will drive you to, for fulfilling their happiness, it will always drive you into sin. And that's what you can see when you pick up a newspaper also. In the 35th verse, Bhagwan completes this chapter of Karma Yoga. He completes this chapter of Karma Yoga with his final teaching there. In the 36th verse, Arjun has got a question again. And Arjun says, Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. Bhagwan, then by what is a human being forced to actually act into wrong things, do sinful activities? Arjun may be expecting that, Bhagwan may come up and say, you do wrong things because of your neighbor, because of your relatives, because of so and so, because of this. And Bhagwan says, nothing doing. All of us are doing wrong things because of us only, because that's how we have trained ourselves. In the 37th verse and 37th up to 43, Bhagwan talks about this particular topic arising out of Arjun's question that Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. If this is the case, Bhagwan, then what is that driving factor for people to end up doing sinful activities? That is Arjun's question. So from 37 up to 43rd verse in this chapter, Bhagwan talks about this particular topic. And then again, Bhagwan brings back to the point that how one should exercise self-control. This is the basic structure of this third chapter, and we must have a clear picture of this chapter within us, and then only we can make an effort to understand it in its depth. And we must understand it in depth because this is something which is going to be absolutely useful for all of us in entire life. And remember, action everyone has to do. That is why it is utmost important for us to understand the correct form of action, correct structure of action, correct nature of action. If we are able to lead a life where our actions are guided as per what scriptures declare and scriptures teach us, then remember one thing, in our life will always be improved when we will walk the correct path. But before that, we have to understand the scriptures first. Bhagwan tells Arjun, Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan tells Arjun, the first line of your question, that I understand that, if between karma, which is karma yoga or yoga buddhi, he compare that to sankhya buddhi or the knowledge of the self. If the first part of your question says that if I think that sankhya buddhi is far higher, shrestha, is actually far better than karma yoga, then why are you telling me to put this into action? And then why are you asking me to go into yoga buddhi or karma yoga, and that too you're asking me to do action which is very severe in nature? I have to end up killing my relatives, and it is a very gross kind of an action, Bhagwan. It is a very severe kind of an action. It's a ghora karma, and this is something which all of us face in our life. Now hear me out what I'm trying to say before I go into Bhagwan Uvacha in the next particular verse. So this is something which all of us face in our life. Each one of us has this which come in our life, and that too, whichever kind of action it may be, whosoever does whatever kind of action, but at some time or some moment, and in a particular time, and special kind of moments and special some kind of a time, everyone and most of us feel, or all of us feel, that the action I'm doing is quite severe. It's Each one of us think that our karma is ghora, and we feel that it is very very painful to do the action. All of us feel that. And even though in the eyes of others, what a kind of, what beautiful actions this person has got, or grass is always greener on the other side, other in the eyes of other people, they may be thinking what kind of beautiful action this person and has, how sattvic this person is what a kind of pure action it is. And this kind is free from all kind of disturbances, vikshep rahityam, and it is so respectable in nature. uh, and even though externally other people may think like all these things, but still at some point in life, we it for in every doer, this thought comes that my action is very severe and very painful. It asks too much of hard work from me. It makes me work too much of effort into this. And you know in the context of action, in the overall picture of action, nobody can say, you cannot deny this fact that some actions look like becoming very severe at certain point in time. I've been doing this for so long, and no action will deny this fact that at some point in time, our actions doesn't look severe at all. And nobody can also say that there is no kind of fault or error in any kind of action. This possibility is not there. I'm just giving you an example. Even if someone builds ashram also, you may have to hurt someone, then some committee, somebody will throw out someone, somebody will induce someone, somebody, all that kind of politics you have to face, isn't it? So no action, you can say, is completely devoid of faults, devoid of errors, devoid of pain. No action is there which is like that. If every action has got some aspect of faults and errors in it, it then a human being is advised very clearly that man should only focus on his or her duties. Because and Bhagwan is himself going to say in this chapter, I'm not going to jump the gun and say that here, but you just mark my word here, that is why Bhagwan is guiding us, that all of us must do our duty correctly the way it has been given to us. And even if that duty which is with us is kind of severe in nature, we must end up duty, because that's the doorway for us to grow. The question of Arjun is for, or people like us who have this kind of question and always sprouting in us, that I'm being told to do this, I'm facing this, I'm facing that, why should I do this, why me, and all those kind of things. So Arjun's question is actually putting an expression to our question to Bhagwan. Actually, we all have such kind of a question going on within us. Bhagwan, what he does is, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, what he does is Bhagwan and points ends to Arjun, that Arjun, the second statement you have, that thing I didn't like much. You are actually pointing finger on me. Bhagwan says what Arjun said in the second statement, Vyamishreneva Vakyena, second verse actually. Bhagwan, your word is completely mixed up. In reality, in the second chapter, Bhagwan has clearly spoken about two kind of intellects. Bhagwan has clearly spoken about two kind of knowledge. Bhagwan never mixed his words ever at all. It was very clearly Bhagwan only introduced the topic and deciphered the topic. That's why Bhagwan and actually inserted an introduction there before he split the topic. That Arjun, till now I said this, now I'm going to talk to you about this particular topic. That's why Bhagwan said, no, Eshate abhita sankhye buddhir yoge tu imam shunu. Bhagwan himself deciphered that. And this is right that Bhagwan did speak about the Sankhya Buddhi completely, the knowledge about the self and the glory about it completely, and elaborately praised it. He gave elaborate praise is to the knowledge of self or the self knowledge. And Bhagwan said, and that Nanu Shochanti Pandita, in the when he was elaborating upon the Sankhya Buddhi itself, Bhagwan said that one of the fruit of having the knowledge of self is that you will never have to grieve in your life. Bhagwan said Nanu Shochanti Pandita. In the second chapter, 11th verse, Bhagwan spoke that. And when the topic of Yoga Buddhi or Karma Yoga came, then Bhagwan said, Bhagwan elaborately praised the Karma Yoga also, but in this praise, Bhagwan never ever said that equipping yourself with Yoga Buddhi or Karma Yoga, you will never have to grieve in life. Bhagwan never said that. Bhagwan also never said that you will never have you will never have Pratyavaya also. He never said that. Okay, he never said that at all. Bhagwan said, Trayate Mahato Bhayat. In the second chapter, 40th verse, Bhagwan said, but it will definitely give you mukti or freedom from, grave kind of fears. It will definitely free you from gross and grave kind of fears. And Bhagwan said the Karma Yoga Buddhi is actually a sequential step, a facilitating factor, facilitating cause for actually equipping you with the Sankhya Buddhi. Bhagwan said it is a step to grow towards or preparing yourself for gaining Sankhya Buddhi. Bhagwan said, Bhagwan praised the Yoga Buddhi a lot. He did definitely praise the Yoga Buddhi a lot. He definitely praised it's one of the best things to have in you. Arjun, Karma Yoga is definitely advised by me. It is definitely going to free you from many things. But Bhagwan said what? Even though he praised the Karma Yoga so much, Bhagwan praised the Sankhya Buddhi also. But the way Bhagwan praised the Sankhya Buddhi or the knowledge of the self, Bhagwan did not praise Karma Yoga that way. In those words, Bhagwan didn't praise Karma Yoga. He never did that at all. That means what? What Arjun said in his question, that Bhagwan, according to my understanding, the way I have understood, would, in your mind, Sankhya Buddhi is definitely far better result giving than actually Yoga Buddhi, than actually Karmana. He says what? Jayasi Chet. What? Karmana Buddhi Jayasi Te Mata, He Janardana, Te Mataha. Karmana Buddhi Jayasi Chet. Buddhi Karmana Jayasi Chet. This is the way you can say that. Bhagwan, in your, or according to what I've understood, in your words, in your intellect itself, it's very clear that Sankhya Buddhi or the knowledge of self is far greater, far higher, far supreme than actually Yoga Buddhi. That Arjun has understood correctly only. That Arjun said it correctly only. But Bhagwan, you said what? Bhagwan said Sankhya Buddhi or the knowledge of the self is the direct cause or the direct thing which will directly lead you to Brahmi Sthiti, which he explained in the last verse of second chapter. And he said because Sankhya Buddhi is supposed to be far supreme, far greater than Yoga Buddhi, that is what which is going to directly lead you into Brahmi Sthiti. But there is no mixture in these words at all. Bhagwan is very clear in his teaching. It's very clear. That means what? This is actually a shortcoming in the understanding of Arjun. Arjun only has not understood it correctly or misunderstood this or got mixed up in his own mind. But what he did, his weakness, he pointed that onto Acharya or the teacher. He said, Bhagwan, your words mixed me up. Bhagwan never mixed it up. It was Arjun's weakness that he did not understand it correctly. He did not understand it clearly. So he, what you call that? He superimposed his weakness onto the teacher, onto the Acharya. That's why what the second verse which Arjun said, it's actually pointing fingers on Bhagwan. Bhagwan is directly denying that fact, is actually negating that part, and then what Bhagwan says is what the verse number 3 is all about. I'll read the verse today, take the literal meaning of the verse, and rest we'll see in the next session. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां लोकेऽस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनाम्. So it says Shri Bhagavan Vacha. From here, Bhagavan starts speaking. Supreme Consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna starts speaking. Bhagavan Krishna says, when I brought about this creation into existence, when I created this creation, or when I got this creation into existence, and also made the Vedas appear, when I made the Vedas appear, or I gave the Vedas to the creation, means the Sanatana Dharma Vedas to the creation, at that time also I never mixed up these two paths at all. I had given these two paths, these two kind of firm paths. Thus, at that time also I gave it separately, and I gave it separately, clearly segregating both of them. I gave these two paths so clearly at that time also. What is the meaning of that? Meaning what? On this topic, it, never ever since the start of creation I have ever mixed up these topics at all. At from the start of the creation itself, I have given these two paths clearly separated from each other, and in front of you also, when I gave you, I did the same thing, that I clearly separated the two paths and presented or gave the two paths, clearly advising those two paths to you separately. And this is the compassion of Bhagwan, and that he tells Arjun, he addresses Arjun as Hey Anaga. Anaga means one who is free from any kind of sin, who is completely free from sin, Nishpapa. Now Bhagwan knows that Arjun is a little bit lost, so to say. He's a little ignorant fellow out there, and and Bhagwan knows that disciples and students keep on doing these kind of stupid mistakes. So the finger pointing which Arjun did, or the kind of blame which Arjun put on Bhagwan, even though that language is not correct at all, it's a little bit not right for a student to ask his teacher the way that he asked it. It is definitely not the correct way to ask a acharya or a guru. But what he said, buddhim mohaya sivame, I came to you to remove my delusion, and I came to your, or what you call that, I surrendered unto you to remove my delusion, and you are such that who are actually confusing me more. On one side, Arjun in the second chapter verse 7 says, Shishya te aham shadi mam tam prapannam, and here he is using this kind of a language that is blaming Bhagwan, that Bhagwan, I'm sorry, your words are completely confusing me. I came to you to remove my confusion, and you are confusing me more. It's this kind of a thing. Arjun is actually really pointing finger on Bhagwan, and Bhagwan and is addressing Arjun as, Hey Anagha, you are one who is free from sin, and this is free from any kind of sin. Actually, this is nothing but a compassion of Bhagwan. And Bhagwan is actually an Adi Guru of this creation. Sab Purvesham api Guruhu Kalena Anavachhedat. It is said in Patanjali Yoga Sutra that there is no such jiva in this creation and who can become an Adi Guru, who can become a Guru from the start. Those people who in the previous kalpa were ignorant, and so when they are born in this kalpa, they will be born as an ignorant only, na? If someone is ignorant in the previous kalpa, he will be born as an ignorant only in this kalpa. And if somebody is born as a man of wisdom in this kalpa, that means he was already a man of wisdom in the last kalpa. But if somebody is already become a man of wisdom in the last kalpa, why will he be born here? So Adi Guru can only be one, and the name of that Guru is God, Bhagwan, Ishwar, or Paramatma, the Supreme Consciousness. Why? Because he is Nitya Jnana Swarup. He is always of the form of knowledge. He is the consciousness itself. Bhagwan himself has said in when he gave the Vedas, us at the start of the creation said, I spoke about two paths. Tasam abhyudaya nishreyasa prapti sadhanam vedartha sampradayam avishkurvata maya. Vedarth means as the core meaning of the entire Veda. When what do you call that? When I gave the Vedas, when I made it appear, when I made the Vedas appear at that time itself, I gave clearly two kind of paths for people with two different kind of qualifications, and I gave that at that point itself. Means what? Whosoever is the people who are qualified enough to actually follow the path of scriptures, Bhagwan said that they are the one who have been in fallen into manushya jati, in the human race. This much for today. Rest we will see in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति 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 ही। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम तत्सत्।